Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate, Trades Edition. Well, we're December in Alberta, and there's lots of bipolar weather. Some of you might be offended by that. I apologize in advance, but it kind of is. It's like negative, like 20, and then it's back up to like 5 degrees, 8 degrees. You know, like just enough to make it melt so that the roads become slick, and anyone who's a shitty driver is going to find out really quick. Walk around and find out if you don't have your fucking winter tires on. If you don't know how to drive. You know what my favorite about living in Alberta is when, here's the thing. So in Alberta, we have every province lives in Alberta, which means we have drivers with driving styles from every province. Every province. And so I always find it funny because it's like the Albertans or people from like Ontario or Quebec are the ones that take the ditch. Now, Ontario or Quebec, if they're not rural people, if they're like city people, they just get mad and slam their horn and try and get in the fast lane. But if they're rural people, like a lot of us Albertans that grew up driving like crazies in the ditch because you had to figure out how to get out of it, and most of us have trucks. Those are the assholes in the ditch just flying past you in the ditch. That's an Albertan there. Oh, God. I know a few of them. I'm not proud. I don't do it. I don't have enough confidence to hit the ditch and just start clipping. First of all, it's illegal. First of all. Secondly, I don't have that kind of confidence in myself. My truck could probably handle it, but I don't have that kind of confidence. I'm not like, yeah, you know what? These guys are pissing me off. Let's just hit the ditch. With, 2 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow. I will say that the city has done really well in clearing the roads, and the county. They're actually getting better at getting the roads cleared a little faster so that people can get to where they need to get to with limited accidents. I say that, but the first snowfall of every year, I think there was over 200 accidents. And I'm just like, yeah, that tracks. That's why I don't go anywhere on the first snowfall. I don't want to be part of the accident. I wouldn't cause it. At least I would hope not. I mean, I do trust my driving skills, but I mean, ice is ice, It doesn't matter if you drive a truck or a 4x4, it doesn't matter. You slide. That's what I always try and tell people. And people are like, how come you go a little slower when the road conditions? Because you drive according to the road conditions. And regardless of what vehicle I'm driving, everybody slides on black ice. Everybody slides. Where no one's immune to it. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. So roads are dark, not a Hyundai, unless we get the little glimmer and then we know we're on ice. But that doesn't always happen. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit. And then you're in the ditch. So no thanks. No spank you. We are Christmas party season, which means there's lots of Christmas parties going on right now. Some people enjoy Christmas parties, some don't. Some people celebrate Christmas, or they call them holiday parties now. I still call them Christmas parties. I grew up with Christmas. The jolly fat man brings presents. Weird, creepy tradition of sitting on, some random dude's knee and telling him what you want for Christmas. I mean, it's the enchantment part of it that I like. Some people will look at it and be like, nah, it's a little fucking sketch. But I mean, we all did it. We all did it when we were kids. We're all different people now. We see things differently. And we're all a little bit of a helicopter parent, because I read something somewhere that said, you are the parent you needed. And I was like, oh, fuck, that tracks. And it's not saying our parents are horrible people. It's just, when you do the psychology of it, you find out that you are, when you're raised in a family of siblings, okay, so you got siblings, whether it's one sibling or 10 siblings, it doesn't matter. But you don't get the same parent. Why? Because you're not the same person as your siblings. You're all different little snowflakes. And your parents are going to treat you differently. Like, I know as a parent, I treat my eldest and my daughter differently than I treat my son. Not that I love them any less than the other. I love them both immensely. And I would say the same. There are things that my son does that's my favorite. And then there's things that my daughter does that's my favorite. Like, for example, I asked my daughter to do chores and she just does it. I don't got to ask her 100 times. My son, it's like all of a sudden he has an instant urge to take a shit when I ask him to do the dishes. And I'm like, interesting, because you've been playing video games for 4 hours and now all of a sudden you have to take shit. Interesting. All right. Good talk. So It's a challenge. He does them, not always to the way I would like, and I always have to try and tell him, honey, I want you to do these chores so that you are self-sufficient. You shouldn't rely on anybody else to do these things for you. These are your things to do. Laundry, cleaning, he has to clean his bathroom. He's got to clean his room. Like when I talk about clean his room, not like put your clothes away. I mean like clean your room, get on your hands and knees and wipe down your baseboards because that shit is gross. And he does. He's got to get down and do it. He's got to know how to do the deep cleans. Why? Because then I feel better as a parent that my child knows how to do it. Whether he chooses to do it or not is completely up to him. But while you living in my house, you're going to do it so that I know you know how to do it. And doing his laundry and doing dishes. And now he's got a new task. He's got to shovel snow. And being the semi-helicopter parent I am, where most people would say, oh, you're just spoiling your child. 100%. I bought him a shovel, an electric snow shovel. Well, shit. I bought him an electric snow shovel so that he can go do snow. But here's the kicker. He's got to figure out that he's got to do it with the wind. So if he's out there shoveling the wrong way, the wind's just going to blow it all back and he's going to have to do it again. He's probably going to get pissed off because he's got a temperament like mine. So he's probably going to be like, this is stupid. And but he's got to learn how to do it. We all had to go out and shovel. We all had to go do the chores that our parents didn't want to do. But it was also teaching us, it was teaching us homeowner pride. It was teaching us to, work for what we want. It was the grit that made us who we are now. That's why there's a lot of entrepreneurs in our generation, Gen X and millennial. That's why there's a lot of, really good people in professions now that just see things from a different perspective because our parents put us to work in order to help us understand life skills. So, and pride's a big thing. If you have pride in something, then you want to do it and you do it well. So when people don't take pride in what they're doing, then it's a half-assed job. And we don't like that. So yeah. So anyway, lots of Christmas parties. We're going to do Christmas parties this year. I've already done, where am I at? 3. I got another one next week and then one after that. So, and then I'm done, but it all depends on the roads. Yeah. Don't like driving those shitty roads, especially in rush hour. Everyone's crazy. I'm that person that knows like 6 different routes to get to my house. So if I'm really worried, I'll pick one of the 6 routes I know to get home. Even if it means I'm on the back road and like a bunch of snow and ice, but I know it's safer because there's no friggin' people driving on it. I'm like, sure, I'll take it. Yeah, let's go. Just easy, nice and easy. Slow and steady wins the fucking race, Anyways. So anyway, snow season. I always talk about, as you guys know, I work in the condo world. But I'll sidebar that just for 1 second because on December 6th was a very important day. I did put out a post for it. It was the National Day for Action Against Women with Violence. And so make sure that you support that effort. It is December 6th of every year that is recognized. Like I said, I will put posts out for it every year. I did this year as well on the 6th. So we need to support our women out there because it seems like every time we turn around, there's a new law that stops us from doing something else. God's sakes. Like vaginas should be revered, okay? Like we bring life, okay? We house it and we birth it. They always say, if you give a woman a house, she'll make it a home. Like we amplify. We're amplifiers. God's sakes. Are you guys jealous? There's only 3 reasons somebody hates you, We all know it. So just saying, just throwing it out there. Just a little question. Did you were asking for a friend? I don't know. So anyhow, condo. So I work in condo. So with the freeze thaw, we need to make sure that our windows are not open when it's minus temperatures. If you want to air out your house, that's fine. You can air out your house when we're in plus temperatures and not for a long period of time. And please don't leave your house with your windows open, even if it's plus 15. Alberta is that province that's like, here, hold my beer. Let me show you all of the seasons in one day. So please don't leave your house or your condo unit. Okay. We don't need any, like this is restoration, like high time right now. All the restorators out there are on some level rubbing their hands together or holding their brow. So, because I mean, this is their money season is freeze thaw season is winter, because a lot of people don't realize how quickly pipes freeze. They don't realize how quickly things can change, even though they've been living here for a long time, and they should just know common sense is not common anymore. So we just need to put those little provisos on there and say, hey, don't leave with your windows open. Don't leave them open for a long time. Make sure you guys are doing all of your maintenance inside the building so you guys don't end up having a boiler that shuts down and then all of a sudden you guys are out 100,000 plus to redo boilers or an air or your exhaust system or your intake system. Make sure your HVAC's up. Get good HVAC people there. That's what you want. There's a lot of really good companies, as I've always told you guys. Full transparency, I try to use local. So if I'm in an area, if I'm in Edmonton, if I'm in I don't know, if I'm in Calgary, if I'm in Airdrie, I try to use local. Red Deer, local. I want those local companies to succeed. They've built a really great company, and I want to ensure that they get, a little bit of that limelight, because the big conglomerates that are out there that are coming across and that are franchised and this and that, they're already established. Nothing against them. I want everybody to succeed on their own accord, but I do like to see my local men and women succeed a little bit more, because they built it. Most of them have built it from nothing. So I'll always go into an area and I will look for the local vendors and I will go vet them and find out who they are and what they bring to the table so that you guys have somebody too. And not only that, but nobody wants to pay a fucking travel charge. Like if you're in Red Deer doesn't need, they already have people. Okay. Like why the hell am I like, oh, just get somebody from Calgary or Airdrie to drive out an hour that you're going to pay for. So now your automatic 3 hours minimum is now being charged with a trip charge that's something like over $180. And you're like, yeah, because that's what I want to do. Why wouldn't I just use the local guys there or girls? Duh. So always try and find local and always try and get reviews. But remember, when you're looking at a review, look at how they finish, not how they start. Okay. So if someone comes in, because you guys have to remember, all of us, when we get into our feelings, we decide to take to the keyboard and we're like, hey, you fucked up. We don't like it. We're mad. We're upset. It's how they respond back to you. Okay. So if they're responding back to you saying, hey, listen, I saw your review. We're really sorry about this. We want to get this rectified, blah, 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 blah. Now, sometimes because it's all online, they're trying to keep face, but do those follow-ups, because I do. If I give a bad review to somebody and they come back online, I hold them to what they're saying. Cool. Online, you said you were going to fix it. So let's fix it so that I can revise my review under yours to say, hey, thanks for coming back and getting this all fixed. Really appreciate it. 4.5 star or 5 star or 3.5 star. Wasn't happy with how long it took. Wasn't happy about this, but I appreciate that you fixed it. And then you're boosting that person's rating because it's how they're fixing it. So when I say reviews, pay attention to how the person is responding and if there's a response under it. And there's some people that are just haters. So, it's like, oh my God, Becky, I hate this guy. We should totally swamp his entire or flood his entire friggin' Google review because he did a bad job for me. And then Becky and 10 of her friends are flooding the review, but the 10 friends haven't even dealt with the guy. So remember, there's that too, right? People can be a little petty, a little fightful. So let's not destroy businesses completely because, Jessica or Becky or Gary had an issue, just throwing names out. People are going to be like, oh my God, how does she know? I'm just kidding. But yeah, so make sure you guys are paying attention to the weather and how it's going, how it could possibly affect your condo unit. Make sure you're calling in those maintenance teams. Make sure you guys have a resto company figured out for your property, because there are some management companies and there are some companies that have preferreds or they have on-calls that are designated to restoration. So they have two separate entities where the emergency call comes in, but it's a subsidiary. I can't even talk. Anyway, it's another aspect, because I can't fucking speak today. Apparently it's Monday. That is part of a resto team. Okay. So these big companies. And then what happens is they're dispatching their people, and then people are mad because they don't understand why this company, at first it's just like, okay, a company's coming, I'm great. But then things go and then they go sideways, and then property managers have to go backwards and be like, what the hell did this guy do? Or what are we doing? Or why are these costs? And then they have to pay attention to insurance. Don't always tap your insurance, because insurance right now has been flooded with all kinds of claims. And don't forget, most of you condos have nothing under a $50,000 deductible. So if it is under that, we're going to try and work together as a condo corporation and fix it. The best way to fix anything is to prevent it. Preventative maintenance is the best, because then we're not fixing anything. We're fixing the problem before it becomes a problem. Educating your people, great thing to do. So there's lots of different associations out there that will help you do that as well inside of Alberta and across Canada. CCI is across Canada. So you always want to make sure you're reaching out to those types of organizations to get some more information. There are a lot of people who, from what I understand, donate their time, like myself, that will sit and help you to understand what you need to. Now, my role in CCI is just to be a moderator. I just get to hang out and make sure the right information is being conveyed to each other. But my role in COF across Alberta is to ensure that the right people are in the right places and to ask some of the tough questions. But you know what? Because I've asked some of those tough questions, because I've kind of put some of the speakers in the hot seat, I love that the membership in COF, and I've said this before, I love that the membership is so broad and it's across Alberta, and they come in with some great questions and they'll put the speakers in the hot seat, which is what they're supposed to do. They're learning. They need to understand. The only thing that I get a little bit kind of like upset about is when people ask about particular situations, and it's human nature. We do that. We're like, well, we're dealing with this, but there's so many moving parts and there's a bigger story behind it that you can't ask a speaker about your specific situation. They'd have to look at it. So what you have to say is, I have a situation. I'm wondering on the best way to move this forward. Do I talk to somebody like you or do I talk to somebody like this? This is kind of a synopsis. And then they can say, yeah, absolutely, get a hold of me on the other side, or you can talk to any person in this side or find out who your person is. So that's a big one that I use. If you have somebody already in that's already knows your building, this is a big one. Please listen if you were in a condo. If you already have a preferred vendor on your list, please use them. They know your building, they know your site, they understand what's required, which means that you're going to not have to pay for someone to play catch up or review plans. They already know it. So unless you need to bring in a new one because the other one shit the bed or they're gone or companies dissolve, it happens, then fine. Then you bring in a new one. But make sure that if you have preferreds, you're getting them in to help you because they want to help you. They want to keep your business and they're going to do what they can to help you understand your building better because they're dealing with all of your mechanics inside of it. The mechanical aspects, the snow removal aspects, the landscaping aspects, all of it. Cleaners know your building really well. They know all the floors and all of the different aspects. Your engineers will know a lot if you have a specific engineer. So those are all things to pay attention to. And especially a good one to go to if you have questions would be your reserve fund study people, because they know a lot about your building. They have to walk it, and they're walking it like when they're going to do their reviews, they're walking it. They've written the reports. All they got to do is go back to the reports. Will jog their memory and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. This is why I thought that. This is why I thought this. Maybe talk to this professional. From what I understand, this is your preferred vendor for this, this, and this. Is that still the case? Yes, perfect. Go talk to them. They're going to give you the answers to this, because if it has to change, we can always do an amendment so that we can figure out when this actually needs to be changed out or what type of preventative maintenance needs to happen. They're really good at that. They're smart. So that's what I encourage my condos to do. What else is there? Oh, the government's a shit show, but it is what it is. Here we go. I'll sign all the documents to get rid of them. All the documents. Do you know what I think is funny is how they're trying to push through, it got shut down, but they were trying to push through a legislation that was going to overturn the whole recall thing, which is really funny to me because this is how it happens, right? So you empower a group to have a choice to recall people that you don't want. It's basically saying like you have the power to fire people that aren't representing you properly. And they do it hoping that you're going to fire all the NDP and all the Liberals and all the Green Party and all the other people, right? Independents, whatever. But then it gets turned back on you and you're like, thanks for putting out that legislation because now we're going to abolish your ass. And they're like, whoa, that wasn't designed for it. That wasn't the purpose of this legislation. It's like, it's exactly the purpose of this legislation. Thank you for putting it in there. And they're just like, so I find it funny because that happens in our everyday lives when you empower somebody to do something and then they turn it back on you and you're kind of like in your feelings about it. And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't mean me. And then they're like, you're not fucking immune. What happened? You want me to build up and have a backbone and have boundaries? Well, I have boundaries and a backbone with you. And you're like all in your feelings about it because you're like, well, I should have a free pass. And it's like, no, bitch, you don't get a free pass. You wanted me to be this person. I am. Here we go. That's where the phrase came, like, you've created that monster, so now you got to deal with it. Because it is, you're creating, it's not even a monster, it's just the saying. It's a shit saying. And also if you spoil someone too much, then you've created that monster. But I've created it, and I'm not going to lie. I get in my feelings about my kids because I've empowered them to have these strong voices and opinions. And then they mock me, and then they do things, and then they give me their opinions, and I don't like it. I don't like what I'm hearing, but I have to eat like crow. Like I just eating shit pie. And I'm like, God. And I just sit there. I can't get mad at them for it. And my son will even call me out for it. He's like, oh, you're getting mad because you don't like what you're hearing. And I'm like, maybe. Maybe I am. And he's like, well, sounds like a you problem. And I'm like, it is a me problem. So let me be in my feelings for a minute. All right. I'll get past it. Like I'm here, like I'm listening. But my son, like, I mean, he's my little spitfire. He's the one that comes at me with a taste of my own medicine. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Like my daughter does too. She mocks me like perfectly. I can't do anything but laugh because it's hilarious. It's like the way if your kids can mock you and you can get a belly laugh out of it, you're doing good. Because it means your kids are comfortable enough to call you on your shit. And it sucks as a parent, you know, but sometimes you just need to be called out on some of your shit. I mean, we couldn't do it with our parents. We were scared. That was terrifying. Like they had a list of things they could use to chuck at us or spank us with, beat us with, you know, so we didn't do that with that. Like I wouldn't dare say the shit to my dad that my kid says to me. Like that, I would have been dead. I'd have been dead. My dad actually threatened to kill me. So I was like, oh, well, let's not test that boundary because he's crazy enough to do it, you know? Anywho, that's all I got to say today. But with everything that's going on in the world, try and find your happy, try and do the holiday parties and just be happy. You want to do them, do them. You don't want to do them, don't. Like there's times where I just sit and watch Grey's Anatomy for a while. Never watched the show ever. Now I got to play catch ups. I think I'm on season 12. I don't know. And I'm watching it and I'm just kind of like, oh yeah. I like the surgeries, so I like paying attention to that. A lot of fucking drama. A lot of drama. I'm like, if this is what hospitals are like, it's no wonder. It's like, wow. Like, I feel for the people in hospitals if there's this much drama going on. I do. But you do you. Find your happiness, find your peace, especially with the holidays coming even closer. And we'll walk into 2026 maybe a little bruised, but better. I don't know. It's jury's out on that. We'll see what happens. But you know what? Like I said, always find your happiness, find your peace, because that's the only way to be at this point in time. Worry about yourself. It's not selfish. It's self-preservation, and make sure you do that for you and your family. Even if that means cutting people out during the holiday season, you do what you got to do for self-preservation, because a happy you is a better you. So that's all I got to say today. Let's wrap this up now. So we'll catch you all on the flip side. And as usual, don't do anything crazy.